yeah, this is like the end game, or the mid game maybe of like a brutalist bureaucrat's like wet dream or something, and and yeah, it's really neat. Like, look at that. That is so cool. Okay, so this is gonna be my third attempt recording this game. The first time I was recording, I like went into some random area and then my game crashed. The second time, I completed the first level, and then once I started the second level, the game crashed. Um, I'm gonna maybe try to lower the render scale a lot and see if that helps. And then I don't know if this is gonna do anything, but cap that at 60. Um, brightness, that should be fine. Okay, we're gonna start it up again. I don't know if it's going to, oh, okay, so it left off at the second level. I'm just gonna start from here. So I'm gonna give another premise again, which is that if you're expecting this video to mostly be me talking about the game and like aspects about the game as if it were like a review sort of thing, or just like a video commentary mostly focusing on the game and like the game design and things like that, well, you're partially in the correct place, but I don't want it to just be like that. I tend to have I have more fun personally when I'm just like yapping about my stream of consciousness, my like internal monologue while I'm playing a game, rather than like exclusively focusing on like elements of the game itself. And yeah, that's just like a little bit of a preface, I guess, going forward. Because like on one hand, I don't really want to like take away from the game itself, because like obviously a lot of care and effort goes behind projects like this, and it's quite amazing. But I feel like everyone already has like an implicit understanding of that, and so I don't feel like the need to release another like video onto the online ecosystem. I don't know why I said it like that, where where it's just like me like gushing about how the game is like awesome, because it's really cool already. So I'd rather just sort of go into like a stream of consciousness mode and talk about just like random stuff while I'm also happening to play this game. Hopefully that makes sense. Anyways, so yeah, today is August 21st, and something that I also found kind of interesting was that, okay, this game released today, and then another like first-person 3D movement platformer game released today called Cicada Mata. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And it's kind of got a similar thing to it, sort of, but that one's more. I think a lot of people are making comparisons of it to something like Marathon / Ultra Kill, like a combination of those two, sort of, even though it's probably also its own thing as well. And so I was like debating which game to play, or to like focus or highlight on, and I think I'm still leaning towards this one, even though I do kind of like those styles of video games. Sometimes I have played Ultra Kill. Okay, hopefully my game doesn't crash here. Okay, my game / graphics driver did not crash, thankfully. So, I guess if others are experiencing this problem, to start with, I'd recommend lowering the render scale, and I think that helps probably a little bit. But anyways, yeah, so what was I was talking about like how this game and another game released today that have like a sort of similar 3D first person platformer kind of thing. Get my colleague's seal of approval. You needed to go further. I don't make the rules, I respect them. seal of approval. Anyways, yeah. So the other game is called like Cicada Mata, and I was considering whether or not to like download it and play it. Oh, okay. It's just like a traffic light thing. Or maybe it's like that's like their checkpoint system. Maybe. Oh, okay. So I need to find the third one to unlock that gate, probably. I don't know why I thought it'd be here. So yeah, Cicada Mata seems interesting. The only thing, again, like, in alignment with my thoughts on sort of having these recordings being like less about, or not entirely about the game, and more so like a split between stream of consciousness, random yap stuff, and like aspects I sort of can point out in the video game or whatever. I think something like Cicada Mata would just like require a little bit too much focus, and it's just like too much stimuli happening in that game from what I'm seeing in the trailer. A lot of like bright flashing colors and lights and movement stuff, like rapid movement stuff. And I just don't see myself, I don't see myself being able to like reliably sort of like focus on random points that I want to talk about as I'm playing a game like that. I mean, maybe I could try, but like I just think something like this is a lot better. And I like this game so far because the idea is that I think there's kind of like two basic tracks of players that play this, or one focuses more on like the speed trial sort of thing and like the global leaderboards, and then the other maybe is just like sort of wandering around the map and kind of like appreciating the level design or things like this. Not anymore. You should try going through the sewers carefully or you'll lose your way. This is like an analogy towards bureaucracy or something. That's the feeling I get when I play this game, or like some levels of this game. This is like a brutalist, bureaucratist's like utopia. I feel like. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, like this game and the level design, I feel like the architects and like the people that were like really invested in the brutalism movement and like concrete megastructures and things like that, this is their dream realized. And I think the developers sort of know that a little bit too. And like here, for example, like this is something about like the arches and like those kind of evoke like Roman aqueduct sort of things, or just like a highway, I guess. But anyway, yeah, this is like the end game, or the mid game maybe of like a brutalist bureaucrat's like wet dream or something, and yeah, it's really neat. Like look at that. That is so cool. Wow. Come with me and explore. Take my hand and explore this concrete megastructure with me. I need like the image of like a figure descending from the skies with one of their arms outstretched, and then it's just like a caption of something. Not the ones that are like, here, take this fentanyl with me. No, more like, here, grab my hand and we shall go on this elaborate adventure through megastructure and worry about, and then like have meandering conversations about mundane and also broad level like philosophical sort of chats as well. Yeah, Anyways, like I wonder what's going on with this. Like, why is there only one windmill here? I don't know. Anyways. Oh no, there's another one. You know what would be cool if there was a level that was just like a lot of windmill farms? I'm almost expecting this to be the case, but I feel like one or two of the levels later on in this game are going to be like very different in tone and presentation. Like I'm almost expecting like a lush meadow, green meadow, and like blue and fluffy clouds sort of sky thing, and then like flowers and like vibrancy and everything, and then like a bunch of like windmills or something. It's I don't know why I feel like that's going to happen, but okay, that's probably not going to happen. But if they do have a level like that, I think it would be kind of interesting. Or I feel like if they had a level like that, they'd have to like, it'd have to be like presented within a level like this, where it's like a sort of like fake backdrop or a set, like a movie set sort of thing, like within another setting like this that has like a more grungy early 2000s like piss tone sort of like vibe to it, I guess. This is really cool, by the way. I feel like you're probably not able to jump down there and explore. Just kidding. Okay, well let's just go off track completely and take a look see at this area. Yeah, so I guess, okay, it's funny how I had that preface at the start of the video where I was like, actually I'm not really going to talk mostly about my life or about this game, and mostly just talk about random stuff in my life or like random impressions or stream of consciousness stuff. But that really hasn't been the case at all. I have ironically mostly been talking about this game. So I guess to like pivot a little bit, I just got back from like a trip and like a travel kind of thing, and it's been like around 13 or 14 days, so around 2 weeks, and okay, I feel like this is probably the end of the level. Yeah. It's been about 2 weeks, and I just got back home, so I'm a little bit jet lagged, but at the same time, okay, I'm gonna stop the recording here and then restart just because I'm scared of losing, like, my game crashing again. Okay, so yeah, I'm like a little bit jet lagged, not gonna lie, even though I spent the last like 14 hours sleeping or so. But yeah, the last 2 or 3 days have been so weird. Like, I haven't been able to get really good sleep because I was basically wandering in airport for at least 12 hours because that's just how the flight went. Like, I had a transfer flight, and so I was just walking around this airport for literally 12 hours and just like going to like the same open like restaurants or like tea shops that were open. And then, so I like go to the cafeteria, order some food, and charge my phone. And then after that was done, then I'd go to like walk like 20 minutes to this entirely other section of the airport, grab like a drink or like some caffeine and tea to try to stay awake, and then repeat, and then like wander for like another half an hour, and then go back to the cafeteria, and so on and so forth. By the way, I was curious about like charging at airports and like the safety concerns, like on like digital safety concerns. And yeah, supposedly you're not really supposed to charge on like open USB ports if there are any available, because there's something called like juice jacking, I believe. So yeah, I instead opted to charge via the like wall adapters, and I don't know how much more effective or safe that is, but hopefully I didn't have all my like digital info compromised by elite hacking group, whatever. Well, okay, I was thinking about another thing, which is like, what it would probably be better to include like juice jacking ports or whatever in like VIP lounges, because I definitely saw a bunch of those. Those are like, I think if you probably, I don't even know how VIP lounges work at airports. Maybe if you're like a frequent flyer of the business class or whatever. But anyway, I feel like that'd be more effective to include like juice jacking ports or whatever in those lounges rather than just like randomly in the airport, or at least like a mix of two if someone really wanted to. But it's like, what is like I'm like reminded of those like images or memes that are like, oh, hacker gains access to all your information and demands a ransom, otherwise they're going to release all these embarrassing infos about you as a person and your online activities and stuff like that. And the response just being like very nonchalant about it. And yeah, I mean, I almost feel like that's probably, I don't know how often that happens, but I feel like that is probably like a similar thing that would happen for me if I were in that situation. It's just like, I don't really feel like I have very important or crucial information about anything. Like, I literally just make random videos talking about like semi-obscure visual novels. They aren't even like obscure visual novels. They're just like visual novels that I read on itch.io in the newly published tab. That's not even like obscure or niche. That's just like going to, I was gonna say it's like going to a thrift store and like fishing things out of like random bins, but I don't think that's the correct analogy here. It would be like going to a grocery market and sampling like their new food products or whatever, if they have those at certain grocery markets or whatever. Okay, what is this? Do I go here? But okay, in regards to visual novels and things like that, because I'm still going to do like readings and stuff like that for sure. I really enjoy those. I might tone it down, or I might slow down in terms of like itch.io stuff. And well, I think one reason why is because I don't want to be too mean or anything, but I feel like a lot of the itch.io visual novels are very much like catered towards a little bit like attention grabby, sort of. Not entirely, but like I don't know. I don't want to call it slop either, because like obviously a lot of effort goes into these kind of projects sometimes. Sometimes not, I guess. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is that I found like a database for visual novels and read along stuff called like, I think it's called like IFDB or something like that. And yeah, from like the 10 or 20 minutes I was just like scrolling through that site, it seemed very interesting. It logs a lot of, I guess it'd sort of be like the rate your own music kind of thing, or like Letterbox, I guess, where people sort of like log and review like their favorite music or shows or movies or whatever. But this one is mostly specifically for visual novels, I believe. So I'm probably gonna like pivot to visual novels from that site. That seemed kind of interesting, I guess, and check out maybe some of the more not classics, but like more trying to like figure out the wording here. Just like more, slightly more widely regarded titles from like VN enthusiasts, I guess, or like reading game enthusiasts or something like that. Yeah, so that's probably going to be what I'm going to focus on in upcoming videos. And I already saw, what is this? Secret. B-side unlocked. You remembered Pirate? Okay. Oh, I feel like that's something there. Oh, okay. Start back here. Yeah, I'm probably going to cap this video at around 20 to 30 minutes. I think. Yeah. I think that's like a pretty standard timing for most like Let's Plays of this nature. Or not Let's Plays, but like videos or recordings of this nature. That scared me. Wow, this looks really good. Okay, so I will say, like, while I was on my trip, I wouldn't call myself like an urban explorer by any means, but I was just trying to look for areas that seemed cool in like the place I was traveling at. And there happened to be like a lot of buildings. It's sort of like a city-like place that I went to. And I'm reminded of this one day where I literally just walked into this like luxury sort of hotel, and then I literally just like okay, so it's one of those systems in the hotel where they have elevators that require like key passes to get to like a certain floor. And so I had to like kind of like linger around in the elevator lobby and wait for someone to like come in, and or like to call. Whoa. Oh, okay, to call the elevator, and then yeah. So then when they called the elevator, we both went inside. They used their key pass for the 10th floor. I was just like kind of awkwardly standing there because I think they were expecting me to also use a key pass to go to my floor, but I just had to pretend like, oh yeah, wow, you're also going to the 10th floor, I'm also going to the 10th floor, out of all of these dozens of floors that happen to be in this building. I didn't say that, but that's just like what I was trying to like convey telepathically. And so yeah, I was just like wandering on the 10th floor for a little while, and there were like a lot of doors that were locked. Not like people's like rooms, but like other sort of like miscellaneous doors and things like that. So I ended up going to like the emergency stairway, which, by the way, is very handy if you want to explore like buildings, because like all buildings pretty much are required to have emergency stairways. So that a lot of the times that just kind of like negates the need for like a key card, like a security key card, because you could literally just find the emergency staircase and go to whatever floor you need to go to, because you literally cannot lock the emergency stairway because that would just like violate so many safety regulations of a building. But anyways, yeah, so I went to the 3rd floor because that was where like the pool / fitness room / like other rooms were at. And yeah, I ended up like exploring. It felt very back roomsy, where there were surprisingly a lot of unlocked doors. And I ended up going to like the kitchen area, and also this was like after hours too, so that probably helped. There was just like no staff in the area, and and it felt very like liminal, backroomsy, whatever. I'm not sure if I'm gonna release that footage, or like what. I think it would be fine, but anyway, I'll think about it. Anyways, I found this section leading to like this outdoors conferencey area with like grassy turf all over it. And yeah, it was really cool because it gave me like this really nice view of the ocean, because we were like by the bay or the ocean. And it was just really, yeah, it was wonderful. I don't like smoke or drink too much, but sometimes on trips I will. And yeah, I thought that was like a really nice kind of like drink/smoke spot. And if anybody is wondering, which nobody is, this is really cool by the way, why my voice I feel like my voice is like 0.5 octaves lower than it usually is compared to like the rest of my recordings. I have to confess that I did smoke a pack of the cigarettes, and I would highly advise against it, to be honest. It is extremely overrated, and it just makes my voice feel scratchy. And yeah, I just haven't smoked in a very, very long time. But for whatever reason, sometimes when I'm traveling, I like to indulge a little bit, and it makes me feel like all cool and like badass and stuff like that. But no, really, it just makes my throat feel like weird and gross. So I just am not about that, really. Or drinking. Hold on. That was a really random tangent. Anyways, I think that's probably it for now. I'm gonna play one more level and probably stop for now, because I think it would be interesting to have these like continue as like its own mini series as I go through all the levels, rather than just do everything in one huge. Well, I guess I could just like record a bunch and then portion off the videos as well. I recently read somewhere that was like, you should not title your videos like part 1/part 2/part 3 for whatever reason. It just like lowers your like algorithm metrics or whatever if you care about that. So I'll see. Maybe. I'm still in like this weird spot where I'm like, I do think getting more engagement on my videos would be neat, but also that it comes with its like downsides as well. Because I think when a person is like making their account and starting to like record a bunch of things, they usually start off with like stuff that they really enjoy recording or find interesting, I think. And it's more of like a freeing sort of like exploratory process where somebody's like figuring out what kind of things that they gravitate towards, or like what kind of like commentary, I guess, or expression styles that they enjoy going through. Who's Darude? Okay, that was like Darod. I feel like that was a reference to that techno song. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So I think the thing with more views or engagement or whatever on websites that have like a like and sharing system is that like it is a pro and cons sort of thing. Pro and cons? Who words it like that? Pros and cons. Why does that feel like such a weird phrase now for whatever reason? Anyways, the point I'm trying to get at is that I think the positives, generally positives or pros, would be like you get access to more like people and networking, and you make more friends, and then you get more info about random stuff that might be interesting, to do more recordings about things that could be interesting, and it's sort of like a content feedback loop system, sort of, I guess. The downside, I believe, or like one of the downsides for me at least, would be that it would be like a sort of creatively limiting factor, where yeah, sure, I'd have like, let's say 100 subscribers, for example, and like realistically, probably like less than half, probably like way less than half of those 100 subscribers would actually like actively engage with whatever I'd upload with. So it'd probably be like 10. It'd be like 10 people maybe that sort of like actively engage with whatever I like put out on this channel. But even like 10 people, that is a lot of expectation. That is like an insane amount of expectation, for me at least, where it's like, oh no, am I going to like have to cater to these like 10 active subscribers that maybe more consistently consume my content, my sludge. That feels like a very weird way of wording that. My apologies, but that is how I feel, and it's like, oh no, am I gonna like let everyone down? And like, what if subscriber 5 has like these topics that they're intensely averse to, and I happen to mention it in this video, or like what if subscriber 7 has like a history of like really disliking or liking this particular game that I uploaded, and then they're never going to engage with my content ever again because I've disparaged their favorite game, or like that I've like really expressed generally positive feelings about a game they really dislike or something. Anyways, I know all of this is just like really dumb and like over exaggerated, but it is just like things that I sort of have in the back of my mind a lot of the times. And I think a lot of people do too. It's just it's not always the easiest to express these sort of things, at least for me. But that's kind of what I'm trying to do with these videos, and this is what I mean mostly by like a lot of my videos not always necessarily being about like the game entirely, or like progressing through, or like talking about like mechanics or level design or like game design about a game. It's a lot of times it is just me talking about like random things like this that I sort of worry about a little bit. I only watched like 2 things on the airplane flight, and one of them was Inside Out 2, the movie, because they didn't have the first one. I didn't watch the first one. I heard it's really good, but yeah, Inside Out 2 was pretty good. I thought it was okay. I'm just trying to I'm just trying to distract viewers, because like I genuinely don't know where I'm supposed to go. Maybe there? I feel like this level is definitely the most reflective of my like inner monologue at this point, where it's just a lot of like meandering and pathfinding and like backtracking, I guess. But yeah, anyways, I guess I'll talk a little bit about Inside Out 2, and anxiety is in that movie is kind of an interesting character. Like in some ways I get it, but in some ways I'm like, wait a minute, was anxiety correct? Like, was anxiety actually like the hero of the movie, or the protagonist of the movie in some ways, rather than like Joy? I feel like there have been a lot of arguments like that already in regards to this movie. Oh, okay. Okay, so that was that. Actually, I think I'll probably stop there, and then next time maybe you will get to hear my thoughts, if I remember, about Inside my experience with Inside Out 2 on the airplane, and my like miscellaneous impressions of that movie for whatever reason. Yeah, thank you for watching.